All right, folks, welcome back to Chef's Ink Book News. Alex Rivers here, still smelling faintly of garlic and burnt toast, which, let's be honest, is the cologne of a life well lived in the kitchen. As the air gets a little crisper, we all start reaching for ingredients with more depth, more history. This week's about more than recipes.
Right. It's about the stories behind the dishes, the ones that stick with you like a perfectly reduced demi-glaze.
And I'm Tamara Washington, your pastry soul sister, bringing you the sweet truth with a sprinkle of cinnamon wisdom. You know, Alex, you're so right. The shift in seasons always makes me think about the food that warms not just the body, but the spirit. Sometimes a dish isn't just something to fill you up.
No. It's a piece of someone's soul, plated up with a little history and a whole lot of love.
Ollie Benny's here, ready to prove that storytelling belongs behind the bar as much as it does on the plate. In fact, one could argue a well-made drink is the most concentrated form of narrative. This week, our selections are absolutely dripping with it. Personal journeys, cultural context, and yes, the odd, perfectly executed cocktail. So, let's dive into the flavors, the backstories, and the philosophies that keep us all in this wild, wonderful industry.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We've got $3 to keep your creative fires stoked. Let's get right into the heart of it. My pick this week is a modern classic.
Okay.
A book that feels like it was written in scar tissue and rendered fat. Blood, Bones, and Butter by Gabrielle Hamilton. I first stumbled upon this one years ago in the cramped, humid back office of a New York kitchen.
Right. Over the din of the dish pit and the expediter screaming for pickups, a line cook, a quiet guy from Ecuador who had seen it all, he handed me his dog-eared copy and just said, "You're gonna see yourself in here, chef." And he was right. Hamilton's memoir isn't some polished, PR-friendly chef profile. It's raw. It's messy. It is brutally honest. She takes you from her wild, unstructured childhood, her mother throwing these legendary parties, right through the relentless, soul-crushing grind of other people's kitchens to finally opening her own place, Prune. And she doesn't skip the ugly parts.
No.
She leans into them. What hooked me immediately was the sensory detail. There's a scene early on where she describes her mother's epic lamb roast, the way she captures that smell.
Yes.
Rosemary, the garlic, the fat just starting to crisp and spit in the pan. It's so vivid, I swear I could taste it. And then, just a few pages later, she's describing the grime in a catering kitchen.
Of course, a place so cramped and chaotic, you can barely turn around. That, for me, is the entire industry in a nutshell. Romance and reality, grit and grace, all in one breath.
I love that description, Alex, because the best food writing isn't just about what ends up on the plate.
Right.
It's about the honest mess that got you there. It's the story of the burn marks on your arms and the ache in your back.
You've hit the nail on the head, Tamara. It's about the cost, which brings me to my big takeaways. First, your food is indelibly shaped by your personal history.
Alex Rivers is a 52-year-old chef with a gravelly voice and Anthony Bourdain-inspired storytelling. Tamara Washington is a third-generation Caribbean Southern pastry chef with a melodic voice and natural storytelling ability. Oliver Bennett is a sophisticated English bartender with an articulate, slightly theatrical voice and dry wit.
Yes?
You can burn out, completely flame out, and still find your way back. I had this one Friday night running a bistro in Marseille, 20 tickets on the board, the main oven on the frets, and my sous chef picks that exact moment mid-service to have a full-blown existential crisis and walk out. I remember leaning against the wall for 10 seconds, just breathing in the smoke and the panic and thinking, this is it. This is where it breaks. Reading Hamilton's accounts of her own struggles.
Wow.
It was like finding an old friend who could finally understand that specific kind of hell. This book is for any cook, chef, or manager who feels like they're faking it. It reminds you that the struggle itself is the source of your strength.
It's a rather compelling thesis, Alex. that our imperfections and our history are not flaws in our technique,
Exactly.
but are in fact the most vital ingredients we possess. Rather like a cocktail. Every component is in that glass, whether you consciously want to taste it or not.
Exactly, mate. It all ends up in the pot. What have you got for us, Tamara? Something a little less, fraught?
Well, let me sweeten things up a bit, but don't think that means it lacks depth. My pick is Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. Now, this one is a novel, but I want everyone listening to not dare think for a second that fiction means it's less true than a memoir. The way Wilkerson threads Caribbean heritage, migration, and long-held family secrets through the making of one single dessert, honey, that's storytelling baked low and slow until it's perfect. Black Cake, the kind my grandmother made every Christmas back in Trinidad before we came to the States,
Ah, yes.
is a labor of profound love. You start months in advance, soaking a mountain of dried fruits in dark rum and cherry brandy until they're plump and impossibly fragrant. The day you bake it,
Wow.
the whole house smells like a spice market, Sunday service, and home all at once.
I can almost smell the rum from here.
And let me tell you, when I was about 12 years old, my grandma finally let me help with the most important step,
Okay.
folding the burnt sugar essence into the batter. She put her hand over mine on the spatula and said, "Gentle now, Tammy. You fold, you don't beat. You want to fold the love in, not beat the spirit out." That sentence is in my head every single time I pick up a spatula to this day. It's my true north. And that is precisely what this book captures. There's a scene where the two estranged siblings finally taste the black cake their late mother left for them.
And in that single, dense, flavorful bite, they taste decades. They taste storms weathered, oceans crossed, grudges held, and a fierce love that simply refused to die. That right there, that's the heart of food for me. So my takeaways from Black Cake. First, food is a powerful heirloom,
Yeah.
capable of carrying our most complex stories across oceans and through generations. Second, our recipes have to adapt to survive in new places, but they can still keep their soul. And third, one single dish can have the power to bring a fractured family to the same table,
Right.
even long after the person who made it is gone. If you work in pastry, sugar art, or any kind of cultural cuisine, this book will remind you exactly why you chose this life. It's not just about sugar, flour, and butter. It's about legacy.
I'll take a slice if you're offering.
Only if you promise to sit down and eat it slow, Alex. That is not a rush job dessert. Playful. Ollie, bring us home. What have you been sipping and reading?
A pleasure. My choice this week is a foundational text for anyone who has ever looked into their glass and wondered not just what they are drinking,
Okay.
but why. It's The Drunken Botanist by Amy Stewart. This book is a magnificent gem for anyone who works with spirits. Stewart meticulously traces the history, science, and culture of every single plant that has ever been fermented or distilled into something drinkable. Right, from the humble agave to the notorious wormwood. It's less a single narrative and more a library of them. One of my favorite chapters, for example, digs into juniper,